Okay, Nancy continues. I never posted the name cast anywhere, and the only way someone can get the phone number is through me. Well, that is absolutely untrue, because CAST has that very number on its website. In fact, I used its own phone number that Nancy had given me along with the name CAST in order to come up with the name of the organization, which Nancy didn't know when we spoke on the phone. There is no way, obviously, for Nancy to know that she's not giving the phone number to Scientology, even to the first caller who called her. She couldn't possibly know that. Obviously, at any point, Scientology would be able to call up and provide all of the criteria to her and say, yes, I just escaped from the Sea organization and I'm scared for my life and I need some help and, I need dental work and I need a lawyer and I don't know where to go. Please, can you help me? Well, did you ever have to work all night? Were you ever in the Sea Org? Were you ever locked up? Were you ever held against your will? Okay, you pass the test. Here's the phone number. Here's the organization. The idea that the name CAST is not known to Scientology, to me, it's impossible. There's a degree of madness in that. The only way they could get the number is to call up K-Buck. They have umpteen dozen ways of getting that number. They wouldn't even need to get the number through Nancy. They may call Nancy up and con her a little bit and provide her with, a name, but Scientology had CAST's name, number, everything about it. It was right there in their computers. Scientology has investigated every director, every member of CAST. Scientology does not put on events and meetings with people without researching their past, their incidents and connections. Scientology knew that this was a CAST operation, and Scientology had CAST's phone number. Nancy continues, I am not saying that they have not been infiltrated. How have they been using, quote, children to get a root hold in makes me want to vomit. Okay, this sentence, I am not saying that they have not been infiltrated. There she's talking about Scientology infiltrating CAST. And I agree. They have, in one form or another, been infiltrated. Nancy continues, how they, and here she's talking about Scientology and their Youth for Human Rights organization, how they have been using, quote, children to get a root hold in makes me want to vomit. Okay, I can sometimes have that same feeling myself. She continues, it has always wanted to make me vomit when I see that Scientology uses these small front groups to position themselves as the great crusaders, which in actual fact, as you could tell from my questions to you, the Sea Org fits every single characteristic of a group engaging in human trafficking. Okay, that's basically true. But again, I don't think that pursuing human trafficking is the way to legally confront Scientology. And I don't really see that Scientology is using Youth for Human Rights like a small front group. Maybe she means CAST there. Youth for Human Rights is Scientology proper. It is run by CSI. It is run by Miscavige. It is run by OSA. It is not independent at all. It is a part of organized Scientology. Nancy continues. Did you notice any other groups on that list that have connections to Scientology? Nancy, I'm sure, can go to the list, and Nancy, I'm sure, can do the same kind of research. I'm not a computer guy by any stretch. I live in a different kind of world and have a different approach to life. But this is basic internet research, and definitely the kind of thought that everyone who was trained in Scientology intel, or even if they weren't trained, if they were a Sea Org member and if they did any kind of ops for the GO or for OSA, they have that understanding. They know about incidents and connections. They know to check connections to the degree they can before they put someone in connection with that organization that they haven't checked. It's irresponsible. Okay, so she's asking me to do that. It has to be more than simply the youth group. Well, it is. And then, as you said, a few plants placed here and there, and Scientology influence is hidden from all, but allows them to get more lines into this international group, whereas they literally belong on the other side of the table. Right, the lines are already there. Now the job is not to keep them hidden, but expose them, and to expose them as belonging on the other side of the table. And that's where it seems to me Nancy should be. Nancy should be exposing Scientology, the enslaver in Scientology, the abuser of people, and should be exposing the connections to caste and using her weight to get the caste directors to fully confront their connections and to cut any ties to Scientology. Now, it very easily could be beyond that, just because of really the deception and fraud that are involved. But that's really what should have been done well before I came on this scene. Nancy continues, you saw the number of groups. You told me of one foothold. The rest of these organizations look truly legitimate. Okay, so Nancy had gone there and decided that the rest were truly legitimate. She had that capability. I already know that if we can get Scientology's human trafficking abuses to the higher lines, would be of great value. Well, yes, it would. I don't know what the higher lines are, but I don't think that there's anything preventing anyone from speaking out against Scientology, against Hubbard's lies, against the abuses that Scientology contains in its scripture and the abuses that are executed in applying that scripture. She continues, and that's how I want to play this hand. I don't know what she means by play this hand, although to me it has kind of a flavor of arrogance, as if she's in control of it and she's playing the hand, and at the same time that it's some kind of a game, but she's the one who didn't have a clue about what was going on, about what was in play, about what the cards were, what the connections were. Nancy continues, I will keep you informed. It's Friday and too late for me to call until early Monday morning, but in the meantime, can I find that Freedom article on the net? Do you have a link? And also look closely at the other group members. There must be an adult cover group. I can't believe the only front group that has their foot in the door is the children one. Well, Youth for Human Rights is not a children organization at all. It is an adult cover group. It is a tentacle of the whole Scientology enterprise because it deals with externally connected people. It is run by OSA. It is intimately watched by David Miscavige. I'm sure that Mike and Marty know all about this, and even that they know all about caste, and I would ask that people demand that they come forward and tell all that they know about this organization and all the connections, all the governmental connections, all the PR connections. It isn't just a matter of who took a shot inside the cult from David Miscavige. It's what the cult was doing while those people were taking those shots. That's what they know about, and that's what they don't divulge, or they PR as something profitable, beneficial for mankind that should be expanded. So each faction, Miscavige faction or the Rathbun faction, they rag on each other for not expanding Scientology. Either way, what they're expanding is what needs to be confronted, and that's what they do not confront. Youth for Human Rights is an adult cover group. It's very adult. It's sophisticated. They have guys like Grabowski, Joseph Grabowski. They certainly have politicians that they communicate with, deal with, invite to their award ceremonies, give awards, get awards from. Yeah, so this is a thing which is operated by OSA. The idea that it's a children front group, that's really silly. It's like it's only the Hitlerjugend. Caste is a small section of the larger investigations that they are already in and invest. I have truly no information that there's a larger investigation going on. I think there has been a small effort to investigate Scientology. Like, the effort is monumental, but so far the result is small. To investigate Scientology in Australia, but I do not know of any larger investigations going on. Or, maybe caste is a very small section of some other larger investigation. And that really could be, because as this thing progresses, I think that a larger investigation, one involving the federal government, should be done. It should be done by media, and the federal government really should get involved. This is serious stuff.